Welcome to the Happy Mama Movement podcast. I'm Amy Taylor-Kabbaz. I would like to start by acknowledging the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation on which this podcast is recorded as the traditional custodians of this land, and pay my respects to the elders past, present, and emerging. And as this podcast is dedicated to the wisdom and knowledge of motherhood, I would like to acknowledge the mothers of this land, the elders, their wisdom, their knowing, and my own elders and teachers. Welcome back, everyone. On the 22nd of July 2014, I registered my very first website, wanting to start sharing my story, my research and insights into motherhood, which means it has now been 9 years of creating content, and for most of that time, creating podcasts, both in this podcast and a previous incarnation, sharing stories of motherhood and matrescence from all over the globe. And so I think we often don't pause and celebrate enough in our current culture. And I also know that we have so much knowledge hidden in the archives of this podcast. And so in recognition of that, the team and I are going to be bringing you some micro matrescence moments over the next few weeks, highlights and insights from some of our episodes that you can listen to. And if you want to go deeper, pop into the show notes and see which episode to go back to and listen. Thank you for being here, perhaps for the last 9 years or just for the last few minutes. This is how we change the way we support mothers. Today's interview is someone who has been on a very similar journey. You are going to find this so inspiring, no matter where you are in your own journey to accepting who you really are. Helen Joy Butler is an amazing woman whose work helps women connect to the idea of sanctuary, connect back to their intuition, to the energy in their life, to the space that they create in their home, in their body, in their life. And she brings together all of the parts of herself to make this work really work. But her story just so inspired me to once again really commit to who I am. And I hope when you listen to it, it does the same thing, beautiful mama.
So a certified elemental space clearer. So firstly, that means that I have actually done study. So through the elemental space clearing journey, essentially what I was reconnecting with is reconnecting with energy in a space to either shift dense, heavy, stagnant, uncomfortable, that yucky energy in a space, and then activating and bringing in the energies that we might want in that space. So we might want joy or love or connection or kindness or happiness in that space. So essentially through the entire process of elemental space clearing in a client's home, it can take me many, many hours because I sit with the home, I sit with oracle cards, I meet with my clients, I connect in with the home, but I use crystals, I use flowers, I use candles, and create a beautiful, beautiful altar which anchors the energy and the intentions of what our client wants from the clearing. So I use things like my gong, my feather, I use other sounds. I have a beautiful Tibetan bell. You might be aware of using sage to clear a space. And then we also do quite a few what we call mudras. And the mudras are these body actions that help dispel, get rid of those energies that we don't want, or activate and bring in the energies that we do want.
My thought on this is that as women, we all have this ability within us at some level, but we've forgotten it. We've disconnected from it over the years. Would you agree with that?
I would say we've disconnected from it, but I also would say that we are judged for these kind of abilities.
Oh, yes.
And quite often, and look, it could be our sister or our mother or another lady in our life. It could be our partner, our boss. It could be anybody judging us. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone male. It could be someone female who says, you know what? And I've heard this a lot, Amy. Goodness me, Helen, you must be crazy to even think that or see that or feel that. So it's actually coming back to and giving permission to come back to that inner knowing and go, you know what, I actually trust myself at such a deep level that it doesn't matter what you're saying, because I'm showing up, I'm doing good things, I'm a nice person, and hey, by the way, this space really doesn't feel good, or I'm not following my intuition, or something's not quite right here. It's coming back and giving ourselves permission to actually, reconnect with that energy that does sit inside us. Most mothers are turning up as best they can in whatever way that looks like in their own lives. And if they can reconnect with themselves more authentically on whatever that looks like for them. Look, it may not even be spiritual stuff. It may be around exercise, or it may be around self-care or food or diet. I mean, it could be, I really need to change to gluten-free, even though my family, love bread and pasta. Honouring what that is inside you, because by trusting that, it will eventually lead you to where you need to be and perhaps make your path a little bit more easy. I know life's not easy, but getting on the path can actually feel difficult. I was still showing up. I was doing what I was doing. I was helping my clients. I was being a mum. I was being a wife, all that kind of stuff. But it really didn't feel right. And so I had to actually give myself permission to break down to then break through. And that's actually really hard to do because you don't really know what's on the other side. And so I've actually gone through, probably in the last 3 or 4 years, a number of breakdown and breakthroughs. But the only way that I knew how to get through those was going inwards, to actually gift myself the time, gift myself the focus, so that I could come out the other side easier or more quickly in a way that didn't make me feel like I'd had a complete breakdown. So, an example, I might wake up today and there's a beautiful sunrise. So I would take a photo of the sunrise, and I shared that on social media because I was trying to help other people see how this could work for them as well. And then throughout the day, I would reconnect in with the energy of sanctuary that sunrise gave me. And so if I felt, like I was going down, or I was feeling sad or upset, I go, okay, what does that sunrise remind me of? It reminds me of rising to a new day. It reminds me of shining brightly, whatever the emotions that came with it were. So I did this for 31 days. And I actually found by the end of the 31 days, with 31 different things that gave me sanctuary, I was a new woman, and I had stepped through the breakdown and came out the other side at a higher level to where I was prior to it. Yeah, it's such a high level concept. The more I work with it, it's growing. The message and the symbology of the actual word is growing. So if I was to look at it on a practical level, I would say sanctuary in and around our home, it's not just the organised pantry or the paperwork that, gets sorted and put where it's meant to be. It's this space that I actually want to be in. It's this space which looks visually pleasing to me. It doesn't have to be a display home, but it might have these beautiful little vignettes around of, plants or photographs, or like that practical stuff that just connects you with you and your heart energy. But also Sanctuary for me is really bringing it into your body and into your life in absolutely every way you can. So when I say that, I mean on a practical level, on an emotional level, and on a spiritual level. So I work with Sanctuary around, your home, your body, your life in that practical, emotional, and spiritual way, so that it's actually really multifaceted. And it's one of those things that you think, well, I can't do it all in one go, but you start small. And see, the great thing that I think, Amy, about my concept of Sanctuary is it can be unique to you. It can be unique to the people that you live with, but together you have essentially made a decision. This is what Sanctuary looks like to us in all of those aspects. So let's go ahead and make it happen. But one of the best things you can do for yourself is to say, what is the next logical step? And if the next logical step is to cry, cry. If it's have a cup of tea, have a cup of tea. If it's unpack the dishwasher, unpack the dishwasher. So we put so much pressure on ourselves. And I remember having this interesting conversation with my husband. I was pregnant, and I said to him, oh my gosh, I just feel like everyone else is telling us what we should do. You know this, Amy, everyone says you've got to buy those things for your baby, or you've got to do this with sleeping, or you've got to breastfeed over bottle feed, whatever. They all give you the advice, right? Mm-hmm. My husband said to me, you know what, Helen, we can do it however we want to do it. We don't have to listen to them.
How perfect.
Perfect, right? And it's exactly what I needed to hear. So maybe for the ladies listening, it's saying, you know what, I give myself permission to actually stop and connect in with my own heart energy and go, what is it that's right for me? And what is the next logical step for that? Because we can't simply wake up today and step into Sanctuary. And as you know, the world is also going to throw us other curveballs, even if we are feeling pretty cool about everything right about now. And we need to develop these strategies that will help us do the marathon, which is our life, and our life with children as well. This is a tricky question, Amy. I think that I feel stronger physically, emotionally, and spiritually by being a mother than I ever thought possible. It's as though it's given me permission to become more of who I am, or who I always was, right? Mm-hmm. At my core. So for me, even though it might not always feel or see or be a spiritual journey, I really do feel like having the particular child we've got has allowed me to walk my own spiritual path and connect more with me thanks to him. Absolutely. And we wouldn't have it any other way. Women have been doing it for so long. We do it for a reason, right? Motherhood is such a special journey, and our children really do at times push our buttons, but they do make us the women I do believe we're meant to be.
Thank you for being a part of this movement and for listening to these amazing insights and stories of matrescence from mothers and experts around the world. Please know that you can be a part of this revolution by being a part of our Mama Rising Coaching Certification, which is open now and we start in September. Find out all the details by going to mamarising.net. And thank you again for being here. See you next time.